Righto, welcome to episode 1 of Wired for Art. And I come up with that the other day. I'm a Sparky. I thought it was pretty clever, and I am trying to make it as a full-time artist. And that's what this is all about, is putting myself out there, being a little bit vulnerable, getting online. My art might not be up to scratch just yet, but even if you don't like my art, hang around, let's have a few yarns together. I'm coming into this with just a steadfast, stubborn belief that this is going to happen for me, that this is going to work. I don't know how. It could be these videos. It could be that the right person sees my art. I've got no idea, but this is the beginning, right? And if you stick around, you can see what happens. It might all go to shit. Who knows? I might be a Sparky forever. But come along for the ride, Anyway, so besides being an artist and a Sparky, I'm a father and a husband. I've got 3 beautiful little girls, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn who's now 6 weeks old. And I've been back to work for a couple of weeks, and in that first month, apart from changing nappies and sleepless nights and all the rest of it, in every moment that I got, which were more than we had in the previous 2 children, to be honest, but in every moment I got, I set this art thing up as a business. So there's a lot of back-end stuff that's going on that I'll talk about in subsequent episodes, but I think this first one just needs to be a little bit of an introduction and a rundown of who I am and what it is that we're sort of up to. So basically, with limited time at the moment, my plan is every evening to paint a portrait of perhaps somebody you know, perhaps somebody you don't, and then turn it into a short and turn it into a time lapse, and then once a week come on here and have a yarn and let you know how things are going. And from there, who knows? It's gonna grow organically. I went up to Perth this couple of weeks ago now. A quick day trip, 5 hours there, 5 hours back, and dropped off a piece for an art prize. I didn't win, but it's a really good step in the right direction. It's the first art prize I've ever been a finalist in, and that felt really cool. So there was that. This door, oh my goodness, this door has been the entrance, basically the house entrance for snakes for the last 2 years that we've been living in this place. And the owners have said, you can fix it, you can replace it, you can do whatever. And I've just ummed and and it seemed like the time was nigh. I was at home and doing the newborn thing, and I had a bit of extra time up my sleeve. So we've taken the cupboard out of the way of this door. And even that, like the light that was suddenly coming in, and it was an entrance out into the yard that we'd never had, and a beautiful entrance at that. And it kind of felt like this same door, like this new door was opening, this door that I'd just taken off and cleared and fixed rather than replaced. It was a bit of a metaphor for this door that I'm opening right now, So that felt pretty cool. And it also sounded good in the title, Sparks, Doors and Dreams. And the dreams part is obviously I'm following my dreams. And that's, stick around, see what happens. See what happens when somebody actually chases it, the good, the bad and the ugly. And I plan on showing the whole lot. If I do a shitty painting, I'll still upload it, because it's not about the views. It's not about saying, look how good I am. It's about saying, hey, this is the messy truth, right? It's ugly and there's lots of shitty bits. And we'll talk about those as well. That's the idea with doing the weekly check-ins, is I might have a really tricky week within myself, or with the kids, or with, whatever, who knows. But this will keep me accountable as well, and it keeps me sitting down in the evenings. It's very easy to go to work for a day, come home, hanging out with the family, do all the chores, get everyone into bed, and then just go, oh fuck, I'm just going to watch Netflix, or doom scroll through social media. I don't want to do that. So instead of that 3 hours in the evening that I'd waste my time doing that, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to paint for a couple of hours, and I'm going to quickly write a beat and then turn it into a short and a time lapse, and then come back to you at the end of the week and yarn about it. Right, so this week, the very first painting I did was a self-portrait, just like me. Obviously I know that it doesn't look just like me, but it was from memory. And I would really like to, going forward, be able to paint from memory, be able to sort of take people's faces in and go home and paint them. That's a goal of mine. After that, I painted, the following evening, I painted Christopher Walken, just here. and I turned that into a short as well. That one took me about an hour and it was painted just with knives. The following evening I did Jack Nicholson in The Shining. It was starting to feel pretty exhausting by the third night. I'm going, oh fuck, I don't want to do it. But I'm holding myself accountable. Doing this, I'm holding myself accountable and I'm showing up every day. That's what I've got to do. So I did this one, kind of dark, looks a little bit like him, but what I'm trying to do with my art is to capture the feeling. The likeness isn't so important to me. Obviously I'm not painting realism. It's quite abstract, but it's the feeling that I'm searching for in whatever I happen to paint, whether it be an abstract, whether it be a landscape, whether it be a figurative work, whether it be a portrait, you know. I really quite like figurative work as well. I feel like the posture, the human body is exceptional at telling its own stories, the face, the body, and I feel like that is the direction my work will probably more so go in. But I have just been invited by my good friend and mentor, Carly LeSurf, to a group show up in Perth. We're doing a plein air weekend and we each have to do 6 works that will be exhibited in Perth for March 2026. So this will be out by then. If you're around, I'm sure I'll talk about it more leading up to it, but come check it out. After that, I wanted to listen to Bowie. I heard a Bowie song on the radio on the way home from work and I chucked on Bowie. I was like, I'm going to paint Bowie. So I did Bowie, and this one I did with a brush, which was, I don't typically use a brush. I feel like I'm too disrespectful for a brush. I feel like when you pick up a brush, you need to be finessed and you need to be an artist in mind, body and soul. And that's been a really tricky identity thing for me. I'm a bit of a bogan tradie. I like to go fishing and camping and, you know, cook big bits of meat on the fire. And so that felt good, like giving myself permission to use a paintbrush and just going with it. It looks like Bowie. I don't know what style you'd call it, but it was fun. It was really fun to paint. The following night, well actually it's the afternoon, I painted Cate Blanchett, and I'm sorry Kate, this looks nothing like you. I really struggle with painting women because I feel like my abstract, chaotic style does them a disservice. It somehow takes away their inner and outer beauty, which is something that I've got to work on within myself. But because of that, I was thinking a lot when I was painting this, and I knew the moment that I was thinking, if I think during a painting, I'm done for, the painting's doomed. And that's what happened. I was thinking, and the painting turned out looking like a caricature of someone completely different. Definitely not Cate Blanchett. Following night, I painted Amy Winehouse, chucked on some Amy Winehouse tunes, and that was fun. I feel like I did a better job. I had to be a lot more careful with my colour mixes. It looks kind of like her, but it also looks a little bit like Eva Mendes. But again, I went the brushes, third night in a row with the brushes. And then last night, I did not want to show up at all. And that was a really powerful lesson because I figured that is what taking anything seriously is all about, showing up, and showing up especially on the days that you really don't want to. Because the moment I sit on the couch and watch Netflix, I know for one, I'm going to feel guilty. For two, I'm probably not going to get to sleep until way too late because it's way too much stimulation for my little mind. But three, it means that I'm not doing what I actually want to be doing. And getting started with anything is by far the hardest part, right? So I thought, I'm feeling pretty shitty. I'm going to paint somebody who, certainly in the role, felt pretty shitty. And I did. I know it looks, again, nothing like Heath Ledger. I've got to stop apologising about that. That's not the point. But the Joker. And for at so many points in this painting, I just wanted to stop. I wanted to give up. And I rode through it, I pushed through it, and in the end I ended up with a painting that was pretty dark and ominous and absolutely captured, you know, not the likeness, but certainly the feeling. There's a darkness and a scariness there. Certainly I can see it anyway, I feel it. And when I finished it, it felt quite cathartic, like the shadow had lifted, and I felt pretty good. So I felt like I sort of put that shadow, that self-doubt, all of that sort of stuff into the paint and into the painting. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, I don't want to waffle for too long. I will probably watch this back and start to come up with ideas, and this thing will become far more polished as time goes on. And as we get to know each other, and I'll work out how long they're going to be, and maybe have a few bullet points so it's not completely unscripted. And we'll go from there. You know, stick around, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and let's see where we can take this thing. And that's what I wanted to say from the start. If you're watching this, if there's something that you believe you can do, you can do that. You just have to show up. You just have to do it. And I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove that with these videos. I'm going to prove that with my art. That if you show up, it will work. It might not look how you expect it to look, but it will work. To do that, believe in yourself. I was going to say believe in me, but you don't have to. I believe in me. Believe in yourself, and you will present the best version of yourself to the world, and it will happen for you. All right, I'll see you next week. Thank you.